But let's get into the next topic, and that is your Miami Dolphins, man. Big win over the Raiders. Look like vintage Dolphins from last year and the year before.
Man.
Gabe, I'm just going to say it, man. Is the season not over? Are you back in this?
I knew this was going to happen. That's why I avoided this game. I was only locked in on 3 games this week. This is why I avoided this game. I watched 0 this past week because this is what the Dolphins going to do. They're going to win a couple games that they should win and give me hope that they're actually going to do something. They're going to win a couple games. Next week, I forget who they play next week. What are they coming off of? They play the Patriots. There's a winnable game next week. And I knew this was going to happen. I was like, they can win these next.
Yeah, they got a good. They got a good
kind of
3.
be in the hunt.
All right, so I'll tell you the rest of the schedule. They have the New England Patriots.
Yeah.
They have the Green Bay Packers.
Tough.
The New York Jets. Houston Texans.
Tough.
San Francisco 49ers.
Tough.
Cleveland.
Winnable.
And the Jets again.
These late Jet games, I don't know.
Dude, the Jets are bad.
Yeah, the Jets are bad. I knew it was gonna happen. They can obviously beat the Patriots, but I wouldn't be surprised if there's like kind of a trap game for them. But definitely a tough slog. They're gonna be like one of these teams that like waiting around. Like I kind of feel like the season was lost in the front end of the season. But yeah, I knew they could have. Yeah, I think we talked about this last week. They could have. These are winnable games. And I just don't want to watch them now because the heartbreak is going to be too much. I'd rather break my heart now in week 11 than me hoping in week 16 we were going to play the second game if we're going to beat Aaron Rodgers on the road or something.
Look, I'll say this: it's not over yet. There's space to be had. I think winning these last 2 games against the Rams and the Raiders was huge. Those are huge games because now you're 4-6. And 4-6 isn't out of the possibility. Like if you would have lost this game against the Raiders or the Rams, hypothetically, you're 3-7, and now you're like, man, that means you got to pretty much go undefeated. Like, but look, man, 4-6 is not bad and not a terrible schedule going forward. And I will say, you didn't watch the game. I saw the game, but dude, they look good offensively, at least. Defensively, they still have their struggles. Not terrible, not the best. Serviceable, I'll say that much. But seeing Tua play and Tyreek Hill, they're getting the chemistry back. Achane had a good game. They're starting to fire on all cylinders on offense, and they're starting to get into a rhythm again now that Tua's back. And it's kind of crazy to show.
Did you learn how to dive last game?
Yeah, he didn't take a big hit. You got Jonnu Smith had a great game as well. Like, dude, the weapons it's hitting, and I will say this: the Dolphins are scary. It's a team you don't want to face if you're late in the season. Like you're the Niners. You look at that Dolphins game, and you're like, maybe 3 weeks ago, you'd be like, that's an easy win. But you're looking at them now, you're like, it's a winnable game, but that's going to be a tough one. And you're playing at home against the Niners. So I will say this: look, you got New England. I'll say that's a win. Look, you can't lose more than 8. You gotta end the season 9-8 to even have a chance. I don't think you get in at 8-9. I think to get into the playoffs, or at least have a chance to the playoffs, you got to be 9-8.
You're doing it. You're doing the math again. See, you're doing the math here.
So, I'll say this: that means you can afford to lose twice.
I'm trying to avoid doing this. Right now, I'm trying to actively avoid doing this. Go ahead.
I'm not a Dolphins fan.
I know.
I'm just telling how it is.
You're trying to bring up my hope so it can be broken later. Go ahead. Do the math.
But look, dude,
9-8.
All right.
Okay.
You got 2 losses, right? You can afford to lose. New England should win that game. Green Bay, that's a tough game. You're at Green Bay. That's hard. Say you lose that one. It's a Thursday night too, so it's gonna be cold as shit. The Jets, you should win at home. Houston, I don't think Houston is that strong, to be honest with you. They've looked super, super beatable these past few weeks. They have not looked that great. And honestly, from what I've seen, the Dolphins the past 2 weeks, they've looked better than Houston. So that's a game you can win. Niners game, Niners have shown that they can get lost to. I think Niners win that game, but you are at home. Mike McDaniel's going against Mike Shanahan. Kyle Shanahan, my bad.
No.
That's going to be a pretty entertaining matchup to see. It's a possible winnable game. And then you have the Browns Jets. So I think the only guaranteed loss is Green Bay. and as you just can't lose to Houston and San Francisco again, or give up one to the Jets.
That's the thing.
But I will say this: it's not out of the realm. It's possible. The season is not over, though. And that's kind of the question: is that do you think the season is over? I know you don't want to get into it, but do you think it's over?
Season's over for me. What is there to hope? What is there to hope? We have to play perfect and barely get into the playoffs, and then what?
No, you don't have to play perfect.
I don't think we have a Super Bowl team, man. We're one injury away. We've seen when Tua gets hurt and when they bring somebody
else in, if it's not effective you're going to the Super Bowl, you're just done.
Yeah, we don't have a.
You don't care. You don't even care about making the playoffs.
No. I care about Tua's health, him not getting hurt, so we can start over again next year. He's one injury.
Him not getting hurt this year is not going to play perfect. Well, if he gets hurt next year,
we have to play perfect, and he can't get hurt. That's too much for me to bear. That's too much for me to worry about.
For all the hopeful Dolphins fans out there.
Oh my God!
For those of you who are out there, it's possible. It's not out of the realm to make the playoffs. The season is not over. As much as Gabe wants to say it's over, it's not over. You're just 2 games behind. You got a pretty favorable schedule. There's no world beaters in there. There's no Chiefs. You've already played the Bills twice. There's no Ravens. Like I said, your toughest game is at Green Bay and at home against the 49ers, which you could potentially win. With the way that I've been seeing them play, the least offensively, they've been looking really high-powered lately. But anyways, we will see how that shakes out. We'll be following that team closely as Gabe watches every single game to see.
You tell me what happened in the game. Okay.
Okay.
You report to me.
You know.